Welcome to Verbal to Visual Video. I'm your host, Doug Neill, and in this video, I'm going to share with you 8 ways to build your sketchnoting skills. If you happen to be a little bit bored with your practice sessions, then I hope that these 8 categories, along with the examples, will help to liven up your practice sessions and maybe even broaden the way you see the applications for visual note-taking. Let's get into it. The first way to build your sketchnoting skills is through a type of activity that I'm calling Fill This Page. Now, these activities are great if you're new to sketching or new to writing by hand. They're a good way to train both the eye and the hand, and also make for good warm-ups before a visual note-taking session. Now, they might get a little bit repetitive, so don't feel like you have to fill an entire page in one sitting. You can leave it and then come back to it later. Let's look at an example now of an activity that falls into this category of Fill This Page. In this activity, I encourage you to fill this page with squiggles, lines, triangles, circles, rectangles, and any other shape that you can imagine. But no representations of actual objects, please. So this is an example of an activity that will help you get used to making marks on a page if you're not used to doing that. And making different types of marks too. Some straight lines, some curved lines, some actual shapes. This is a good low-pressure way to get used to making marks without worrying about what those marks look like and trying to make them look like a particular object or image. The next category of activities is called playful practice, which is another low-stress way to build your skills that is also good for beginners. Let's look at an example of a playful practice activity. Here, I ask you to sketch out street signs with laws that you wished existed but don't, and make sure to include an icon within each sign. Have some fun with these activities. The example here on the left comes from my time living in Portland, Oregon, and the example on the right taps into my background in physics and math. So this is an opportunity for you to bring together text and image in a playful way that also allows you to show some of your personality. As a follow-up to playful practice activities, we have purposeful practice, which also allow you to build your skills, but in a little bit more serious way. And with these activities, you'll be able to pull in some information source. So this could be a book or a video or a podcast. You get to choose, find something you're interested, and then try these activities. Here's an example. So in this example, I actually picked the source for you. I ask you to grab a dictionary, hopefully you still have one in book form, open it to a random page and select a random word on that page. Then sketch it out as an icon or diagram, and repeat that until this page is full. So this is kind of a combo of purposeful practice and fill this page. And the 2 examples that I give here are reciprocate and obfuscate. So this activity is a good one for building your visual vocabulary, and it will help you practice taking a specific word and coming up with a simple icon to represent that word. The next activity type is called Sketch Then Do. And in this activity, you will use visuals to first get your bearings on a certain situation, then make a plan of action, and then actually act out that plan. Here's an example of Sketch Then Do. Before cooking a meal, sketch out the recipe. Then cook and eat it, and sketch out a review of the meal. This activity is another way to build your visual vocabulary, but in this case, you get to look at an object in front of you and sketch that object out, rather than trying to picture it in your mind and sketch it out that way. And if you decide to do this particular activity multiple times, then you'll end up with a cool illustrated cookbook, which might be a fun thing to have and share with others. The next category of activities is called template, which is a reusable resource that sets up a certain number of constraints around your visual note-taking session and allows for you to, again, pull in a source of information of your choosing. Let's look at an example of a template. So here we have a simple way to break down the page that you're taking visual notes on. In this case, using the left half of the page to get information down in bullet point form while you're listening to or reading whatever source that you're taking in. Then on the right side, after taking in that information, I encourage you to sketch out that information on the left that's in verbal form. So here you get the information down first in a verbal form in simple bullet points, and then after the fact, you can sketch out that information without the pressure of trying to keep up with everything that's coming in. Next, we have activities to help you connect with others. In these activities, you'll have the opportunity to communicate with others in visual ways, maybe collaborate with others, and also get out of your own head, which is always a good thing to do. In this activity, I ask you to handwrite a letter to a friend and add some doodles in the margins of that letter. On the back of the envelope that you mail the letter in, draw a self-portrait and also a portrait of the recipient. So with this activity, you are simultaneously practicing your handwriting and your drawing skills, as well as connecting with a friend that you might not have connected with in a while. On the flip side of those activities that help you to connect with others, the next category is personal activities, where you will turn your attention inward and maybe do some personal development as you also develop some self-knowledge. Let's look at an example of this type of activity. Here I ask you to sketch out your workspace and how you use it. And after completing this activity, you might find some ways to improve your current setup so that you can be more effective and efficient with the work that you do each day. The last set of activities to build your sketchnoting skills fall into the category of adventure, where I encourage you to get out into the world and take on something that's potentially challenging, but also very rewarding. Let's look at an example. Here I set the challenge of going on a solo hike through the woods, along the beach, up a mountain, by the river, or even down the street. And when you reach your turnaround point, no matter where that is, sit down for a few minutes and sketch out whatever has been on your mind. Hikes and long walks are good for the soul, and you might be surprised at the insights that crop up during such hikes. And here's your opportunity to get those insights down in a visual form while practicing your sketchnoting skills. I hope that you found those 8 categories and examples both interesting and helpful. I've included links to all of those activities below, as well as a link to the full Verbal to Visual notebook, which includes 128 total activities, all of which fall into one of those categories. Good luck as you continue to build your skills and apply them in new ways. I will talk to you next time. Till then.